So, good day, Counterspellians. Welcome to another episode of the Counterspell. But this time, TTRPG is, also there in the background, and we're streaming live with RedOneArt. Today's subject is Goblin Chaos. Ready to make some goblins together with us?
Woo! I'm excited to do a little special in between.
Yeah, just a little break to get a clear mind on Kazzira for when we continue and finish her epic art.
Yes.
So we have a few more minutes to go. And you guys let me know if the music is quite alright, if it's not too much in the front, or if you can hear it. That's another problem we've been having. Settings. So many options.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how have you been?
Yeah, actually I've been doing fine.
Nice.
Work today, so that's what I'm doing. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Still sick, but
Totally.
getting better.
Oh. At least good to hear that you are getting better.
Someone's using the sound effect, then welcome Blizzard Fugs. And I believe this is also the entry and cue for us to start the stream. There we are. So, RedOneArt, you looked up a thing or two about goblins. I did the very same, only a different kind of book.
Ooh, which book did you?
I consulted some of the mythology and lore.
Ooh.
So, from nature, from where D&D got their inspiration from, most likely is from the folklore that a goblin is a small, grotesque, monstrous creature that appears in multiple European cultures. So, the first stories about them kind of appeared around the Middle Ages. They are described as conflicting abilities, and their appearances also depend on the story and the country of origin. They range from mischief toward household spirits, all the way toward malicious bestial thieves. So it starts out with innocent mischief about the small people, turns into something way more gruesome, as in, oh, I'm missing a couple of shoes, hardy hardy hard, toward my child has disappeared.
Damn. That's a lot of different stories about
There's
them.
a lot of different stories about them, and all stories, well, around the goblin fae folk, the small folk, the wee folk, started out with some minor mischief, as in, stealing shoes or a hat or, random clothing to go missing. And with time given, so later on, they became more and more gruesome for harrowing tales like, oh no, my child is gone. Stuff like that. So yeah, as for today's subject, we're gonna go draw some lovely goblins, and I want to give the little talking stick to RedOneArt to tell us more about the D&D version. The iconic.
Yes, so, in Dungeons & Dragons, and then we are taking at least, let we say, the standard, because I think there could be very multiple in between, but your standard is either the goblin or the goblin boss, depending on if you want to make them a little bit stronger or not. So the goblin themselves, they're small humanoids, or they even have a sort of sub-race, so to say, which is called goblinoid. They're mostly evil, and then tending towards neutral evil, as they are having sort of their own law, but also that law can be like wildly diverse, and maybe not everybody listens all the way to them. So that's very, very basics. The family of creatures, goblinoids, they have larger cousins, like hobgoblins and bugbears even, but also body goblins, and like all kind of things in between. Goblins themselves are mostly said to be lazy and undisciplined, which make them, yeah, very interested creatures, as they want to achieve something, but they don't want to do too much for them. A goblin boss is mostly the strongest or the smartest among a group of goblins altogether. And some, even if a boss wanted to, they are being crowned goblin king or queen. But that's just more to say, like, that person wants a extra title towards. Mostly goblins stick together in very, very big layers, which can like have hundreds of goblins. But that's also a little bit for survival, as goblins are not the very strongest of creatures, so to say. So yeah, especially if they're doing not specific stupid, but risky stuff, as they tend indeed of the mischief as well. They are living in caves or abandoned mines or dungeons that's been abandoned or other settings that they can easily get into. Don't take too much to clean or anything, as well as they don't want to clean. They are lazy. And can host a lot of creatures.
Oh, it's like a collection of stuff down there. Yep,
yeah,
that sounds like the reverse Ark of Noah.
Yeah, but instead of like from everything is like 2, there's like a lot of 1, like a lot. And it's needed, as not only they have a lot of not specific predators but dangers around in the Forgotten Realms. There's a lot of creatures that are way stronger than goblins are. So goblins are always in numbers, yeah.
Oh yeah, they really need their numbers.
Yeah, so any adventurer knows that a single goblin probably won't be a problem. But 1 goblin mostly means that there are multiple around. Yeah.
Number 1 story of the adventure, and the story's like, oh hey, here's 1 goblin. Where's the rest?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are the others? As you may see on the screen, I'm trying out some couple of different head designs, because you know, there is a traditional goblin, I believe, that we have with a long nose and a gnarly smile over here. Green little ears. I'll call this one Steve.
Steve, yes.
Steve.
I don't know where the long nose is coming from. Maybe that's something, but if we're working at the design, they are mostly like in caves and mines. So, but mostly they're mostly portrayed with like a human skin, which can be because they're also coming outside. But maybe we can do something that gets stronger, like in caves and stuff,
well,
like that kind of things.
I'm just gonna try and whip up some creatures that I know of that dwell underground. Mole being one of them. There's a star-nosed mole. Maybe that could serve as lovely inspiration. So I'm just gonna start my new sheet over here. Just cut this one out and paste it. Flip. Yep.
Yeah, and then people can say, yeah, they're coming outside. Yes, they do, but most of the time they are within their lair. They are doing what they need to survive, so they either go deeper and find something food there, or go hunt outside. But really, depending on where they live, that can mean also that they are doing that at nighttime, because it's safer for them at some point.
I'm just trying to find some common ground as something that I can draft inspiration from for these underground people that are, you know, kind of like mole people. And now this is stuck in my head.
Super.
Can you name any other animal that you can think of that lives underground? Pangolin, maybe?
Ooh. I don't know.
It's like critters that do a thing and live underground. And dig, because they have often large claws.
Not specifically which lives all the way underground, but a creature that's also
Semi is good.
actually a very connection to goblins as well are rats.
See if I can do the rat from the top of my head. Yeah, do continue.
As a lot of goblins keep rats as like pets. They have the same shun to sunlight and they sleep underground during the day. So that's a very strong connection that the rat has with the goblin. They sometimes, even if they are more brave, the goblin also keeps wolves, but mostly as mounts, of course, because they have the connection with wolves, that they are pack hunters, because connection in numbers. And they are becoming bolder by that. Like a single wolf maybe is not going to do a lot, but a pack of wolves, yeah, they're bold.
Yeah,
and that's the same with goblins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with goblins.
Yeah, I might need some references just to stick them up.
So, depending on the tribe, they can have rats, they can have wolves as mounts, so they can hunt from the back of the wolves. And if they hunt from the back of the wolves, they said to have mostly use hit and run attacks. So, getting past by the wolf, hitting it with either spear or anything, and then run away, then go back, and then get another opportunity attack. Picking it.
Yeah, just nipping away at what they can do without, putting themselves in harm's way. It's a rat. There's also special rats that are being used to get into, bombs and find the bombs for humans. The special rats that are raised in kombucha. I'm just gonna copy paste his face because it's so adorable. It's bigger than the casual rat that we're used to, but they're so cute. And this one even has a medal.
Oh my god! Okay,
I know, it's so adorable.
Can we use that inspiration? Because I love that face.
Yeah, I'm also
maybe
gonna use
it's not too good for.
Let me see. I know this is not a typical ground-dwelling creature, but I do love a sphinx, which is a hairless cat. And I think their face is just something that reminds me somehow of goblins, and they were my source of inspiration for my first round of goblins. I'm just going to paste this one over here. I think they're real adorable. And we're going to make a lovely blend out of a lot of critters that I think would suit the goblin.
Yeah. Depending on who you're asking for, a cat's also an evil creature, so it will fit for it perfectly.
Yeah, they're their nature, their their entire undoings.
But okay, let me see if there are other things that could help. So, from the stats of a goblin, and even a goblin boss, it says that goblins are not strong.
No.
They're more going to the dexterous kind of creatures. Which is understandable. They are using probably their size to an advantage. And even a goblin boss would be the strongest or smartest from the pack. Has an average strength. Doesn't come above 10. Really depends. If you're playing a goblin as an adventurer, you can definitely boost your your strength. But the normal goblin build doesn't have too much strength. Dexterity, yes, it's always above average. Doesn't matter if you're getting a standard.
They're really good rogues.
or a goblin boss. Yeah. They're small, they're nimble. They even have like a feature that is called nimble escape, which actually let the goblin take a disengage or hide action as a bonus action on each of its turns. So it's practically already a rogue before it's actually being a rogue. Very useful. Next to that, all what we talked about, caves and layers and underground, of course they are going to have dark vision. They're adapting to the dark without having too much light. But they can fight in light. It's not that they are as sensitive as, for example, drows, who don't see sunlight at all. Like, maybe if they're gonna go on a raid, but even then. So they're a little bit sensitive to sunlight. A goblin or a goblin boss is not.
There is something called sunbathing for drow, though it's not widely practiced. Then they kind of teach themselves to be more resistant to the sun. And I'm not quite sure, I haven't read upon the article itself yet, but I did stumble upon it.
Interesting. If you can find it, please send it to me.
Yeah, I did find some images that went along with it, the whole sunbathing thing, to just, you know, kind of work on their weakness. But that also means exposing themselves to the weakness that they have. So they probably gotta spend a lot of hours doing that.
Yes. Yeah, it's something about, like, because I know about the drow is that they have sensitivity, which means that they have a disadvantage if they are in sunlight for attack rolls and ability checks and that kind of thing. So I think it's mostly in the eyes. The eyes, like, are not adapted to so much sunlight or light at all. So you're getting a problem with that. And that's why you're getting a disadvantage on attack rolls, because you don't see so much going around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, and welcome, Last Fire Dragon. Yes, yes, there is mention of goblins.
Yes.
I think I might want to flip this a little backward. See if I can incorporate some of that folklore into it, like grotesque versions of humans.
Ooh, yes.
Some belly
yeah, because
skin.
That's the most interesting thing from Dungeons & Dragons, I think. A lot still is a humanoid. We have from the range of humans to goblins to, like, the other side of the spectrum, because a tabaxi or a lion is still a humanoid, which is really interesting. Because
that's interesting, because I would say they're humanoid because they walk on they are bipedal, and they talk and walk like humans, so they do fit this description humanoid. But to call them, I think they're more furries, to be fair.
Yeah. Indeed, but yeah, they are kept under humanoid, and that makes it very interesting for, what we can do with the goblin as well. We can stretch it a little bit because it's still. Oh
yeah, the early designs from the goblin, I believe, were red-faced. Not quite sure about this. You can look it up. You have internet.
I think I can understand that because of their connection with rats. Let me see if I can find the older. Because Goblin has there been the older editions as well, so they have older. In like 4th edition, their skin was more greenish, which is interesting. They maybe even have like a little bit monkey in them.
What about before that?
3rd edition was back to the human skin's colors, but then less, like their arms and legs were a little bit more thinner, so to say. Their faces are very interesting, also a little bit pig-like even, say. The older editions are... Oh, the 1st edition really has a human who is like a little bit differently. It's not a very interesting design, but
maybe it's
I
where
can
the
send it to
kobolds.
you, so.
Yeah, please do. I mean, I do recognize, or at least I remember a design that looked like a rat instead of anything else, like a rat humanoid. Maybe they were the kobolds and not the goblins that they designed that way at first before they became tiny dragons with a snout.
Oh, sorry, this is the wrong one. I did copy it not correctly, so okay. Getting it again. Yes, that's better. Okay, like this was the... I will send you the different designs.
Thank you. I might open my Discord in a bit because I have it closed because of the pings.
I sent you 1st edition towards 4th edition, so you can see the difference that they made in style choices.
RedOneArt, could you tend to the chat for a bit?
Oh yes, of course.
Thank you.
Let's see, going back there. Let's see. Okay, so first question from Lost Fairy Dragon is that, can goblins be player characters in your opinion? Yes, I say why not? It would be very interesting. But do know, like, ask the DM always
for your permission.
Goblins... Yeah, first that, of course, but also how goblins are being seen in the world the DM, like, plays out. Because maybe that can change your opinion on if you want to play the goblin. Because goblin in, like standard, that's not like in all worlds, but standard are, like, going towards the more annoying or evil characters, creatures in the world. So... like, if you're going to play a goblin character, maybe if you're going to a town, your first reaction of other humanoids can be that your goblin is being looked at funny, or even that they are not allowed to stay in taverns. That can be a possibility. And you have to overcome them. I think that would be a really nice role-playing, and to earn a place in the world, to see other people that they are not like evil, they are not wrong all the time. So yeah, definitely say yes, play them, but yeah, have a chat with your DM how they are playing that out, so that you're not being bummed about the like things that can happen in your story. What do you think, Sanji, about that?
Generally I would say there are exceptions to the rule about good goblin, bad goblin, but I would say, depending on the town and region you are in, you might find yourself in a whole horde of trouble. So I have no objections against any player wanting to play a goblin. I'm like, sure, go and do your thing. Well, I'll help out with the stats and we can figure something out. Super cool. Just keep in mind that some towns may not be very nice toward goblins. They might have a bad rep somewhere at some place. It won't be everywhere, but most places, like, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Alright, this is the rat version.
Let me see. Second question is, why did goblins become black-hearted? That's a really nice question, because I think we have to go a little bit into like history, but also the culture. Because goblins themselves, because they are smaller creatures, they are weaker creatures, they are taught from their parents and their culture that they have to rely on themselves or other goblins to survive, because mostly stronger creatures are not doing that for the weaker ones. They are not going to, mostly you're getting ruled over. So you needed to be a little bit more aggressive or ruthless to actually survive. in the place that they grow up. So in that perspective, a goblin, it doesn't seem logical for them to treat others as well or even better than you treat yourself. Because if you're treating them better, like, how are you gonna survive? Like, if you're giving all the food away to somebody else, like, hey, then you don't have any food anymore. And that's what, like, goblins are being taught. That's their cultural part most of the time. That can really change, and that I think that would be really interesting if you're a player character. How did you come out of that culture? Or maybe that you're being that you grew up somewhere else. That you grew up, for example, in a normal human family that adopted you because they found you like abandoned at the side of the road. Anything could happen. And that's also like most goblins, like what we are talking about. Yes, most goblins are being seen as evil because that's all they know, but they are not like evil from themselves. They're becoming evil because of like everything that's around them.
I think their surroundings turned them into the enemy that they are today. It's really sad that a group of small creatures got bullied that badly that they felt the need to be hostile.
Yeah.
Otherwise they wouldn't make it.
And I think that's a like basic understanding of the history, and that's why goblins became black-hearted, so to say. But you can also, like, depending on the world, it can also be a different story, but that's most of it. Lost Fire Dragon also commented something about the rat designs that we were talking about. Like, he said that the kobold from Witchcraft also looks like a rat in his opinion. I don't know.
I have no clue who this is.
Yeah.
Is that a person? Is that a game?
Yeah, Warcraft is a...
oh, wait, Warcraft. I thought you said Witchcraft.
Oh, sorry.
I completely... Yeah, I have no clue. I misunderstood that one.
You have the kobold option in that one, in Warcraft. And that also has, like, a rat design in there. Oh, yeah. Now, I checked the pictures of it, and indeed, it looks...
The pictures I sent were from kobolds from D&D. And I believe one of them also looks quite, you know, like a rat.
So, and oh, Lost Fire Dragon said another question. What in your world have the good and the bad creatures reversed in alignment? Which creatures would you want to play? Oh, what if your world have the good... Okay, sorry, I didn't... What if your world have the good and the bad creatures reversed in alignment? Which creature would you want to play? Oh, that's a hard one. I always have a little, like, weakness for the drow, but that's also because I love their, like, from the drow you have a lot of deities as well, like a lot of gods and goddesses. And one of them, which is called... oh, it's a hard name to pronounce.
The Dark Maiden is the easier one.
Yes, the Dark one. Yeah, that was... She has a name, it's hard to pronounce, and it's... and everybody always pronounces it differently. So the Dark Maiden is so very good. She is wonderful. She's actually also a very strong deity, but she's not showing that because she's actually also a very passive deity. She wants to show everybody that drows can be good people, and yeah, that makes her don't want to fight. Yes, she learns her followers to fight and to defend themselves, but she will never say to others to go out there and fight, because that would indicate the drow's nature of violence, and she doesn't want that. She wants, actually, and that's the most funny thing about them, she wants them to dance in the moonlight naked, to show them that they're all having a clean escape, they're all... Yeah. And I think that's very lovely, and I love those stories around her. There's amazing ones. She actually is almost the one that... And that's also interesting because there's a lot of stories around. But she's the one that almost killed the upper god from the elves. Because she was played by Lord, I believe. And that's also why she changed her weapon. Because in history, her favorite weapon was the bow and arrow. and her bow and arrow actually never missed. But something happened, arrow was cursed, she shot, and the arrow was going straight to like that god, the upper god of the elves. And because of that accident, she swore to herself to never get another like bow and arrow again, and that's why she is now using swords. Interesting fact of the drow. So yeah, I think if the alignment would shift and there's like every bad creature would be seen as good and good as bad, I think I would playing a drow.
I'm gonna play a drow anyway. I don't care. I don't care about alignments. Fuck alignments.
Yeah, probably I want to play a drow as well because I want to do the drow blade singer combination. That I think is perfect together with that deity. I think it's lovely. Yeah, but for Lost Fire Dragon, what if those would reverse? What would you want to play? Is it also like an evil creature that's then good to see, or do you actually want to be the good one that's being turned to bad? And what kind of interesting stories get out of that?
The bad cleric.
Yeah, like. Let me see. What's our mostly good aligned race? Let me say the high elves who are like arrogant but never evil. Like if those are suddenly evil, would you play those? I think that could be an interesting one. Sansji, I see now 2 very different designs. Can you tell me a little bit about them right now?
Oh, I'm sorry.
One disappearing.
Whoop, gone. I was just remembering another burrow animal like bunny.
Yeah.
Now I know they have the Harrington player character race, but it's still like a furry. And nothing wrong with furries, but it's not a mixture between human and the animal. And I think goblins are the perfect, you know, experimental ground for me to figure out a lovely combination.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, droopy ears.
Yeah, in the design of 5th edition, they do already have those long ears. Like it's going a little bit pointy, but also crooked and actually weird. In some so
yeah, they have weird ear designs.
Yeah. And I am not 100% of their like history, like how they come to life. You have indeed like, for example, Lord of the Rings kind of stories, like orcs and goblins eventually came from elves.
Oh, they don't have goblins. I don't think they have goblins over there. It's just orcs like, and ur guys.
They do have some. I don't know if they are called goblins or something, but you have in the Hobbit where they are going like in the cave. You have the little creatures. I think they are also mentioned like goblins. Yeah, like I think so.
They are goblins? Hold up. Oh, my horse.
Yeah, it's in the like in the Hobbit, because in the Lord of the Rings they only use orcs, so they don't have that. But in the Hobbit they do have like that saying that they are going into the cave and.
Hold up, I'm quickly gonna snoop internet.
But I don't remember if they're called goblins or that they have another name in that story.
Yeah, I remember this entire king thing.
Yeah.
So the goblins also called orcs of the Misty Mountains, so they are referred to as orcs again in a way, are a grotesque subspecies of orcs living in the Misty Mountains.
Ah, okay.
But they could be referred to as goblins. I forgot, it's been a while.
Yeah.
that face,
100%
nice.
sure that in the Dutch like subtitles, because I'm not used like listening to the Dutch dub.
Oh.
Because English is better. But sometimes I, by accident, put on the Dutch subtitles, and the Dutch word that they mention to you for those creatures are like aardmannetjes. So, yeah, I don't know. That they don't have the exact translation on that one, so.
Yeah, we've seen this one. I'm gonna remove it because I don't want to get my mind too much jumbled into the standard designs that we already have. I want to come up with something more our own little goblin adventure. That's why I'm doing so many faces. Oh. Here.
But it's interesting. So, like, those orc species actually adapted to the caves, and once referred to as goblins, but they are like different species than in like in Dungeons and Dragons, because in Dungeons and Dragons you have goblinoids and you have orcs.
Oh yeah,
orcs
they're just like total different species. I mean, the ones like terrorizing, dominant, brute force, stomping around your garden, and the other one is just stealing flowers.
Yeah.
It's like comparing mice to elephants.
Almost, yeah.
More animals, more goblins.
No, somewhat legendary frog is also back to the stream. Hello.
Welcome back, legendary frog. How you doing? Here, I'm just gonna merge all of this we have so far. Let's take a sip. I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. Gonna grab my lasso tool. I'm just gonna go copy this one. Gotta paste that.
Lost Fire Dragon also mentioned a naked mole rat as a reference. I don't know if we can have.
I know what they are. They're from the Kim Possible show that they really became a big thing among the public, but they're, as the name suggests, they're moles that live underground and are naked species. But that's why I have the Sphinx over here, our naked reference. I just gotta figure out the face thingy. It's like nose, no nose, big nose, small nose. There's so many goblin designs.
Maybe it's also a good one. Do we want to make a male or a female or a non-binary goblin?
I'll get to the gender thing after I'm fixing a design. Right now, I want to fix and stuff that if I know how the general goblin looks like that I want to go for, I can always go for male and female.
Yeah, that's true. I thought maybe it was getting some inspiration from you.
Let's appreciate it. Nope. That one. Nope. Close enough. I just wanted a bit of a square brush going. Because I've been sketching around, I'm just gonna go. Why? Hold up. Here.
Oh, that's also an interesting reference, Lost Fire Dragon. I don't know exactly how you pronounce it. I think it's axolotl. You know, those little underwater.
Yeah, I know about them. Yeah, they're aquatic based, but that would make an entire other species, I think.
That's true, but maybe let me see if we can use anything of those references.
It's a salamander, and I know about them. It's like going for a toothless design.
Yeah.
I really want something unique that adheres to the folklore in a way, and, you know, getting that bit done a little bit.
Interesting to say that but I think that's because of the folklore as well. That's in most pictures I find from goblins, like anywhere, the ears are always like some sort of way longer and with a sort of point at the end. Probably because like a lot of combination of goblins, fays also have folklore combined, because fae can be also mischievous and well. But that's interesting to say, because I'm not looking at all kind of pictures and folklore. Yeah, pointillas, pointillas. Ooh, that's also a very interesting design, which is Korean goblin. Mm-hmm. I'm going to send you the image, or did you already know what I'm talking about right now?
If you're talking about the axolotl, am I gonna skip that for that?
The 𝙏𝙏𝙍𝙋𝙂?
Hold up.
𝙏𝙏𝙍𝙋𝙂. I have sent you the picture at least, and for the reference.
I'll have a quick look. Is that AI art?
I'm not sure. This
is AI art. This is AI generated. His arm is going through a tree, guys, but I'm not gonna copy paste that into my stream.
No. This is more.
It's not kind of what I want to go for at all. And I would not know how to pronounce that one as well. You can always type it in chat. No. Maybe some people want to have a jab at it.
Let's see. There it is. I have no idea how that beetle is looking. Lost Fire Dragon, let me put that up. I'm not sure if that's a nose that we will use. Which is a tongue.
Oh, a rhinoceros beetle, yeah. No, and I know what a tengu is as well. At the moment, I'm just trying to finish up this little guy over here.
Yeah, you have an idea where you want to go?
Yeah, I have an idea at the moment where I want to go with, so... I'm gonna ignore the inspiration requests right now, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we can always look further. I just want to get this one out of my head before it disappears like a fleeting something and I can't get it back no more. But I kind of want to... You remember the troll legends in Norway? I kind of want to go with that gem.
Can you tell me a little bit more about those legends?
Not exactly, not everything from the top of my head, but Troll Hunter, a good Norwegian movie, is certainly worth the watch. They have different kind of trolls jolting into action, and when day comes, they turn to stone. It's something I incorporate into my D&D campaigns as well. If you come across a troll during the day, it's turned to stone. Unlike the legend and lore that they have to hide, during the night the stone becomes undone, so they have one quirk and gimmick in my campaign. However, they are smashable because they are very fragile during their daytime nap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different trolls in the Norwegian folklore and legend. It's quite a fun read.
Oh yeah, Lost Fire Dragon sent a link to the Amazon page of the book that he wrote about them. Well, for anyone.
Yeah, I'm not gonna click as I'm busy working on stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's probably most for everybody else in the chat. See.
Just want to have that little bit of filth going on, or at least some stacks of maybe skin patches and fur, because they're not really cleaning. They don't clean their shelter, so I think there's more to be had and more to be done with that. I really want to incorporate the story of the goblin here and get this Norwegian feeling in there, or this European mixture. Such a bad thing that we lost a lot of our culture as from the Netherlands, that we do have some cultural points, but from way back in the day of Wodan, which is our name for, I believe, Odin, a lot went lost because it was preserved on clay stones.
Yeah, that's very sad. For anyone in the chat who wants like a little quote, which you can also find in the Monster Manual of Dungeons and Dragons, it has a little quote about goblinoids in general. It says, "If you want soldiers or thugs, hire hobgoblins. If you want someone clubbed to death in their sleep, hire bugbears. And if you want mean little fools, hire goblins."
Yeah, they're nice. I kind of want to up their jam a little bit, because I have a bit of an idea for a maybe future campaign that I'm working on, so who knows? I'll still keep the meanful gimmick in there, but maybe a little more sturdy and not so weak.
Strong in numbers, huh? Don't forget.
Yeah, indeed.
I know if we're going a little bit for the goblin boss design, those are average strength, so. But what is the idea for the campaign, by the way, Sansji?
Secrets.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil a thing on the stream. Hell no. Besides, there's still ideas in her. It's not being sturdy yet, so.
That's true. Not spitting anything out until it's final. Lost Fire Dragon also said, "Alright then, keep your secrets."
Yeah, I will. Because I am.
So for Lost Fire Dragon, yeah, it's average as in, like, normal. So I almost say, if I talk about average, then I talk about 10. Like, for NPCs, for a normal commoner, everything is at 10. Because, like, basic average in everything. If you're going above the 10, you're going above average. If you're going below the 10 in, like, the modifiers, like, or scores, so to say. I have to say scores, ability scores. Then you're going under average. So for Goblin, the normal strength is 8. So that's under average from a normal commoner. So if they're gonna do, like, arm wrestle, with even the normal commoner in town, they're gonna probably overall lose. A goblin boss has the same as a commoner, as they are going to average 10. But yeah, so that's what I use for average point. The trolls that you are getting the inspiration from, do they have hair? Like the goblins of 5th edition?
Yeah, they have hair. Well, not like the goblins from 5th edition, but they have plucks and tufts. And depending on the story that you're reading about them, they're entirely covered, like a yeti.
That's interesting.
So you have different kind of shapes that you can play with, and I believe that makes it quite interesting.
Indeed, Lost Fire Dragon, that would be a real nice campaign. Like you're coming into like an upside world. You can still have the alignment that fits with your race, but anyone else, like the Droughts are probably always seen as good. The High Elves are always seen as evil, and that would make a cool campaign, because it will be surprising for the players to see how that will all work out.
I am inclined to go for a campaign without alignments, because I'm getting so tired of them sometimes. Like, blah, these alignments. I understand the reason why they're there, but chaos.
Nice. Yeah, I say like alignment I'm not using very much, but I do use good versus evil and how the like races are being seen in the world, because that makes very interesting role playing.
Yeah, I kind of do that. If I may, for I know for your campaigns it's quite predictable if you're a player character and you go for a town and you know, oh, Drow, evil. For campaigns that I host, not all towns have the same view upon Drow, for example, or goblins. So here may be this town that you stumble upon if you go off the map and off course, that is kind of or worshipping goblins or having them as good neighbors, and then you barge in and you're having issues with them because you're trying to slay the goblins. Now, I find those gimmicks fun. I tend to do that. It's like, mix it up a little.
Mostly doing the traditional, but you're also staying in a very traditional area at the moment. So if you're going on the Underdark, yeah, of course you're gonna be seen differently as your characters are right now. Yeah, that makes
perfect sense.
But that's probably also why I liked playing Ella so much, because yeah, you can predict her to shoot at a drow.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't know that the drow can be good, so he's shooting at them.
Yeah, so she comes to the city, and she comes into a city where it's okay for drow to walk around and go about. Because there are city rules, thou shalt not murder within the city gates. It's a big thing. Drow have to adhere to that rule too, otherwise they're gonna get busted as well. Not saying that all Drow are good, absolutely not. The vast majority may still as well be evil. And especially from Ella's experience, I mean, she's been standing in front of the gate, so she saw some wicked stuff. Trauma.
Do not always imply that in your characters, but for Ella it was really fun. So to say, I am actually playing a lot of characters who have trauma or negative, like, dark backgrounds. I really have to shake it up sometimes. I really have to. But
man, I just love some of my characters that just they don't have that bad background, except for a few. Jaliska was happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
Same goes for 𝙏𝙏𝙍𝙋. 𝙏𝙏𝙍𝙋 was also happy-go-lucky. In a way, different way, more evil.
Yeah.
He was not very
But he's
kind.
also, but he also had a good life. He had, like, he had 2 wives.
Yeah,
no,
two
how
of
many
them.
wives? 2 wives.
Not always
Yeah,
a good
he
thing,
had
but for
the
him it was like,
family.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it was hard on him. But yeah, he had like a good family life. Because you know, his good connection with his with the rest of the family, kids. Yeah, like a goal he wanted to achieve with their with his god. So yeah.
Yeah, he was going for things. So yeah. I think we're gonna go.
So yeah, Lost Fire Dragon. Indeed, there are more like guidelines, so to say.
Yep.
It's indeed in the eye of the beholder. Oh, for Sansji, we are now 6 minutes before 9, so give you a little update.
I've noticed. Thank you.
Yeah, time flies. Time really flies. Especially if you're talking about D&D stuff. Always good. And I think you can really still see the goblin in the design. It's really nice. Even though it's a different design, I can still see goblin.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about Norse mythology. I mean, it's like the open book of sources for so many things out there. Obviously, it would require a whole lot more work to get this goblin up and running and have it, you know, done. I'm just filling in some blanks, just trying to go where I go and see what happens. This one is really tiny. Maybe some prolonged feet.
Yeah, like in the older designs of Goblin Dungeons and Dragons, they also had this long, like, small, not long, thinner legs.
Yeah, to be able to crawl better through the spaces that they crawl to. Maybe it's like, you know.
Yeah, long arms, long legs.
It's the claw, and maybe they have claws. They have these nails that I don't know, dig deep. Gotta dig somehow.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of tools, your entire body is a tool.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that goblins, you can see them with a lot of different weapons, which makes them skilled like a lot. So they can use short bows, they can use scimitars, they can use spears, they can use maces sometimes.
Sorry, it's too funny. Goblin with a mace.
But yeah, they can, and I think that's made also like they know how to use their stuff. So if they don't have them, yeah, their body is like that we're gonna design now we can use. But if they have their like how do you say that? If they have the opportunity to get stuff, they can use those stuff as they are learning. Again, with the survival aspect, I would say, like, they are using everything to survive. Everything.
Yeah, they're like little handymen. I still would rather hire a kobold if I want my floor clean.
Well, yeah, I think a kobold would better fit the listening description, because a goblin will always get sorts of trouble in there. And because they are lazy.
Yep.
Especially.
Especially that factor is like you come back home and it's even a bigger mess. I think they're just you know, these kind of designs, if we have them like this. Like, do they walk upright? Do they crawl? Maybe they have this little way of doing things. Just gonna quickly.
I think it really depends on the layer they are coming from. I mean, if they are coming from a cave system, I would suspect them to be like more hunched down and stuff. But if they're coming from like a society culture that's living into a ruin of an old castle, then maybe they're walking up more like straight. Aw, he looks a little bit sad right now.
Yeah, I know. I just gotta change that in a bit. Gotta give him something to hold on to. Let me just grab those arms. Stick. A walking stick always makes everything better.
Yes, you can also hit people with it. Oh wait, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, yeah, you did.
Also a very interesting thing, because I was like looking at you and I was with the walking stick, I was remembering like thinking about an old goblin. Like the average lifespan of a goblin is 40 to 60 years, like 60 a little bit the max. But they mostly won't like
make that.
It's not as it's not as bad as the goblins, because goblins are like really reckless, and goblins are a little bit better in that. Also because they are lazy, so they don't want to get in too much trouble, but they do want to survive, so it's a little bit interesting. But yeah, they are not mostly making it so old, so it would be interesting to see like
Evelyn
old
Fletcher.
goblin who made it. Yeah, definitely Fletcher. Fletcher's in.
So the average of the goblin, maybe the goblins can make it to 80 or 100, but because they're like die at a young age because of battle so often, their average is dragged down.
Yeah.
Gonna get this blip. You can play with different kind of faces. Like having stuff on their nose, or maybe some wrinkles, maybe they're a little older. And there's like little smile over here, crooked teeth. Maybe some hair on their chins. Maybe holding their ears a little bit more up instead of down. Like so many things to be done with them. Flip. Oh yeah, I really like them to be more of a grotesque humanoid, as in having features that are... You recognize a person, and at the same time you want to run away. It's like the old fairy folklore vibe that I'm trying to give to it. And it's not saying anything about someone being good or evil, it's just, you know, appearances.
Yeah, because that do have the goblins. They are like normal goblins themselves do have an under average charisma as well. They are... It can come because they are not, as we say, in the eye of the beholder. They are getting seen as pretty, but they can also be seen as vicious with their features. So we can play with that as well. Like, why do they have a lower charisma?
Yeah, they don't look good.
No.
If they say something like, "Oh, you gotta do this for me," you're likely to say, "Hell no." A lovely sample for how people view beauty is, "Oh, butterfly, ew, moth."
Yeah.
What? A moth is just as beautiful, you guys.
And I think that's really nice that you're playing with like tints of gray, because that's indeed the big difference between a moth and like the other one have bright colors and the other one has gray, darker colors. If we are gonna paint him in bright colors, he would, or she would look very, very differently.
Yeah, so you get a bit of the same vibe, but it would indeed do something. And right now I choose gray colors to get some easy shading and lightning going on for myself.
Yeah, I was understanding that, but it doesn't get onto the feel of the moth versus butterfly guy.
Oh yeah. You have colorful moths too, by the way. Look them up.
Really?
Yeah, I think you do. It's like the bigger species of moth.
But I think most people will see that as a butterfly and not as a moth.
Yep.
Even though they do. Like, oh look, a butterfly, and then somebody else is, no, that's a moth.
So I'm giving him tiny eyes. It kind of makes it more menacing at the same time. Like, hey, look at that toothy grin with these very tiny eyes. Like, ah!
Yes, as it still looks, like a little bit. Would this be a goblin design that you will put into a comment encounter, or would you place this into
Both.
a roleplay encounter?
Both. I toss them at players and like, have fun. You do you. Whether they slaughter it and that's 9 out of 10 what happens, or they adopt it. The only reason you guys didn't fight the adorable goblins because they had such a goofy entrance and just basically bumped into you guys. They had a natural one going for them left and right. Like 2 of their party members had natural ones, and they couldn't. I couldn't make anything other than the goofy entrance that they did. Like, they fucked this up. They didn't see you coming, they didn't hear you guys coming, and... yeah, and you surprised them. By doing nothing, by doing absolutely nothing.
Standing on the road.
Yeah, just standing and following a road. Like, oh... spatial awareness.
Oh, and indeed, Lost Fire Dragon, the Luna mod looks very pretty.
Yeah. It does.
But I can understand. Yeah, I can really understand like how people say, "Hey, that's a butterfly."
Yeah, they do that. They do be like that. It's not. It's a moth, you guys. Now you know.
Yes.
Listen to the Goblin of Wisdom.
I'd probably be one of those people who go like, "Hey, a butterfly." But now I learned. Hopefully the next time I will see like
Next
One
time you
of
see a
those.
butterfly, you're gonna go, moth?
Moth?
Moth? Wait, wrong layer. Flip. There. Yeah, this guy would need a whole lot more attention to look fabulous in more than one way.
Yeah, but we started the Goblin Chaos, so...
Yeah, I mean, we started... Oop. Doodles. I'm gonna say this is work in progress. That's kind of where we started. Having multiple portraits done, little sketches.
Which are really good, by the way.
Thank you. And where we're going toward. Like playing a little bit around. Anyone comes across this little fella in the campaign, I hope they will name him Steve.
Yes. Steve.
Steve. Man, I hope they do that. And apologies to anyone who's named Steve watching this show.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Though, yeah, we're a bit over time, and I think I am going to look for any of my pals being online to see if we can go for a raid. Let me see. Right now we have DFox Gaming being online, and we're gonna go raid him. He's playing Minecraft, so let's go.
Let's go, guys. See you next week.